Hello and welcome to the Points of Interest podcast. This is the most generic podcast on the internet. My name is Josh Hawks. I am the 303 Ninja, and right over there, he is my podcasting partner for life. He is the other guy. It's Mr. Francis Fernandez.
If it's not the jauntiest tune on the internet, so jaunty.
I know, and I wish the creator would stop not striking, but stop having an issue with me playing the song, because I bought the license.
Did you put on the descriptor or whatever? Did you give them credit or whatever?
Yeah, when I remember to do that, it's not so much of an issue.
You gotta give credit.
I know. I just forget sometimes, you know.
I did a show with a song that I got from some database somewhere, where as long as I credited them, they were supposedly cool. I don't know how to do that, like, really. I just put it in, like, the block of text that I put as, like, the descriptor of the episode and be like, at the very end, music by so-and-so.
Yep. That's what I did.
And they never, but I didn't put it up on YouTube, mind you. I just put it up as a podcast. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't care, but yeah.
No, Ginger, there's a delay in life because I worked late, and this is what happens, I guess.
A delay on Twitch.
No. I mean, there might be. There very well might be, because this internet is trash.
No, we're here.
Okay.
I see my teal shirt on screen.
I'm afraid if I clicked on anything else, my computer would explode. So
it's just the internet. You just got to get better internet.
Yeah.
One day you'll have amazing internet.
One day.
I believe in you.
One day.
Amazing, wonderful internet.
I feel like we're back in '97 or something.
Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah. It amazes me in the year of our Lord 2024, we have internet. Like, the internet isn't just ubiquitous everywhere. And I think I used that word wrong, but it just isn't everywhere. like I'm just in shock that it just isn't everywhere.
Look, we just go for word scores. We don't actually know what we're talking about.
That's true. That's hard. It's hard not to say that. That's very, very true.
What else is going on? What's happening in the old, not 619, but whatever area code you're from? That's the only area code in California I know.
619. It was 619, 818, 626. Yeah, we have like yours 303. I'm in the 626. So that's
at least like. What the fuck are all these numbers, right? They're nothing, but the way they roll off your tongue matters. 626. That works.
Well, yeah, and it's an OG. It's an OG area code that has been around since I've been born. So it's one that's never changed.
When I ran a marijuana dispensary, I would get younger, freshly 21-year-old people coming into the store, not occasionally, all the time.
Okay.
And we would also, we'd do a little bit of data collection, just for purposes. And I would get their phone numbers. And there'd be some fresh 21-year-old, and they would be like, yeah, my number's 303. And I'd stop them and be like, well, who died so you could have a 303 number? Because they stopped giving those numbers away because they ran out. So who died to give you so you can have that number?
So sad that you have to die to get a legacy number.
Yeah,
I guess you can call it legacy number.
I mean, it's the joke, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe they have started dishing them out again because people don't have landlines anymore. So I'm sure a lot of those numbers are free again.
That's true. All of those pagers that used to have phone numbers are no longer in service. So even the pagers.
It's an antiquated device at this point.
It is.
But I loved having a pager. It was cool.
I'm
I
sure a
felt
doctor.
important. Not even like a doctor. I just felt important when people were like, somebody wants to talk to me. What's your number? I'll give you my pager number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of those douchebags.
Yeah. I mean, I was one of those. I've done the 1-800 collect, and then, okay, what's your name? Hey, I need to be picked up by. Like that, right?
Yes.
Would you like to accept the call from? Hey, I need to get picked up by. It's like, no, okay, I gotta go pick up. Yeah.
I need to be picked up at the designated area.
Yeah. I need to be picked up by the mall. Bye. Um, so I've done that.
I don't.
Collect.
I don't think I had the intelligence as a tank. I don't have a tongue tonight either. I don't think I was adventurous enough as a teen to have even the intelligence to think of that. I think I probably would have walked around looking for a quarter laying on the ground to make a phone call.
I mean, I'm gonna admit I wasn't the one who thought it up. I had
sure.
heard my friends and other people doing it, so I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll do that too.
I mean, that's ingenious. I never would have thought of it as a kid.
Smart move. It's a smart move.
I mean,
yeah,
that's the move you make now if, like, you end up in jail for some dumb reason.
True.
Hey, it's Josh. I ended up in jail. I'm in Denver. Help.
I don't know what to do. I'm in California. Sorry. Will you accept that call? Oh, damn it, no. Yeah. Those are the good old days, I guess. When payphones were a thing.
It's creepy when you go to an old convention center or the airport, an older airport, and you see the banks where they used to be. And now it's like just a shelf, or they try to, make use of some sort of phone bank. It's a flower display.
What's funny is I saw in the last 5 years I witnessed and saw a working, functioning phone box with a phone.
Like a Doctor Who phone box?
No.
Oh, okay.
Regular American payphone.
Oh, okay.
But it was still 50 cents. Like, it was what shocked me. It was still 50 cents for however long 50 cents gets you for a payphone. So I was really surprised. I thought it'd be like $1 by now or something.
I'm surprised it worked at all.
Credit card reader, yeah. Oh, there was a dial tone. There was definitely a dial tone. But I'm like, where's the credit card reader? We even have freaking soda machines that do credit card readers. We have so much of our tech.
Were you ever part of the phone card game? Where you might meet some honey or something from another city that's long distance, even though it might be the neighboring city or something. Goddamn world.
And we are. So, I discovered the internet at 14. I talked to a girl at 15. I got her number, and I had to use... my first kind of terrible thing I ever did as a teenager was rack up a $500 phone bill one month. Talking to and calling this girl who lived 9 hours away from me. Same state, but just 9 hours away. So after I was pretty much beaten to a pulp, I got
Did you have to get your own Switch?
No. Oh no.
Okay, so your parents already had their own
They
Switch.
did all the work.
Okay.
They did all the work. They used sandals, man. We're old school. We're using sandals, no switches. But yeah, so in order to talk to her, I had to go to the local liquor store and get phone cards to talk to her for. I think a $20 was like 2 hours, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I did that a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't. Well, the things.
How do you know?
The things you do.
How far
You're
away?
like, what's up?
Yeah. How far away is far away for you though? Like, how far away was this person that you had to get the phone cards for?
I mean, from where I live to, where were they? I think they were in the Springs, Colorado Springs.
That's far. Okay, that's far.
Different area code, so I mean, it was justified,
Yeah.
I guess. It's still, I think, ridiculous. It's in the same state. It shouldn't be long distance, but
They did that with cell phones for a while too.
They did.
Where
They
there
did.
was long distance cell phone costs. Like, really?
the thing with cell phones that fucked me up is, remember when you can forward your cell number to a landline or whatever,
You still can.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure you.
I in my feeble brain, I was like, well, then I'm not using cell. I'm using a landline.
Oh, smart. True.
So-
yes. Yeah.
Until it's 9:00 when I get my free minutes. Just call the number, call my cell, but I'll be at home chilling, and I'll talk to you on my landline, dink dink,
Yeah.
and then I get my phone bill. And you're like, you went way over on your minutes. I'm like, how? I didn't use my phone. Well, you technically used the number, and the number was active for 2 hours or whatever the case before 9:00. So there go your minutes.
You see, children, back in our day, we didn't text really, because texting cost per text.
For some plans.
For some plans,
There was
begin-
technically texting on my pager. People would send you messages, and you had to sit there with your decoder ring.
God, I hated that so much.
You thought Text 9 was bad. Try using decoder ring on a pager.
8008. Yes.
Well, sure.
Yes.
Sure. But,
Yeah.
Somebody's sending you a message like, whatever, call me. You're like, 2255 space. Like, what would that be? Fucking 664 or 63, whatever it is. Yeah, 63.
2255 was call?
CALL. Is
I
it
think
5?
7 would be L, wouldn't it?
No.
7 is an upside down L anyway.
No, you're
7?
looking at, because you're looking at the letters. Is
Right. I'm dumb. Yes, right.
not leet speaking it, just someone saying
Okay.
call me with just
Yeah.
numbers that you'd have to sit there with.
Yeah.
Like, what does this say? It could say, fuck you, but it actually says call me. Oh, okay. It doesn't,
That makes sense. Oh, that I didn't. Having never had a pager, I didn't know how that worked.
Oh, okay, well, there you
So
go.
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. I actually like that because you could technically have actual secret messages that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Wow. Okay.
Or have little codes for each other, or what have you. Some sort of digit code thing that, if you spelt it out, was your nickname for your person, or,
I like that. I like
Whatever.
that. Just on occasion, for whatever reason, we kind of reminisce about stuff that we've reminisced about in the past. Will we just build on it? Like, we build on the things that we've reminisced about in the past. I'm like, oh yeah, we talked about pagers, yeah, but now we're talking about like the actual way you type to each other, which I had no idea. I thought it was like 8008. Like, that's how I thought it was like.
Oh, sure.
Like, oh, that's how you talk to each other. Every number is looks like a letter. So, oh, that's how you. But okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could do it that way too, I suppose. But I don't think, maybe the real savvy ones amongst us did that.
Silly enough to do that.
Well,
No
one. But yeah, I guess that was our trip down nostalgia road that was unplanned.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always talk nostalgia. It's just one of those things. You know, I have a
for 200 episodes. So, yeah.
What's that?
We did that for 200 episodes.
We did do that for 200 episodes. Have you ever looked online at those like retro gaming boxes that have like 6 billion games on it?
Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm never interested in those because I'm like, oh, that's too many games.
It is. I mean, nobody needs that many games for sure.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, it's too hard to go out and buy a Sega Dreamcast. It's a lot easier to emulate.
Yeah.
So
they sell the mini Genesis and they sell the mini.
You
know
the Super Nintendo one. I was able to get that one, like the actual retail version of that, and it was missing a couple games. I felt.
Yeah, it was.
But
it was incomplete.
But like only,
games. Yeah.
We all have a little bit of quote unquote hacker in all of us. We like to tinker. And I did some reading and I was like, oh, look at that. You can easily manipulate the files that are there and take them away or add ROMs that you maybe have already because you own the game and, all that sort of stuff.
Right. Yes.
So I took a couple games off the Super Nintendo Retro and included a couple games that I felt that needed to be there. Now I only have one save slot now, but I'm not playing these games to beat them to completion. I'm going there for nostalgia and I'm putting it back, in the box and putting it away until the next time I need to dip into the nostalgia pool. Do you remember when we put the hot step on the Nintendo reps about the 64 classic?
Oh.
Yeah.
At
Comic-Con.
Yeah, Comic-Con had not a basement, but like this kind of like lower level in the convention center.
It was at the Alamo.
Nintendo took it over. What?
Nothing.
Okay. Nintendo took over this area where it was Nintendo everything. It was they had places you could play games. They had you do hunts and stuff and there was always a long line for the plebs. Okay, like seriously, a really long line for them. At least 2 or 3, maybe I would even say 4 hours in that kind of line. Like
fair.
Long. Yeah. But then we just flashed our fancy little badges, and they're like, "Oh, you're press? Come on in and go check out our cool stuff. You can't win prizes, but you could go ahead and take pictures and look at our stuff and play our games. Like, you don't have to stand in this 4-hour line."
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially the first time we did it, I think they were kind of like, why? Why are you guys here? What?
Well,
we're like, no, look at us. We're professionals. See, it says right there.
Press.
Got my name and everything. Mm-hmm. And then that second year, they were just like, come on in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had no problem that second year. The third year, they were like, it's a little busy. Hang on. Now you can come in.
Yeah, which I understood.
Yeah.
It was packed. Yeah, I understood that. Like, I wasn't going to argue with them for that one. Yeah.
No. Look, every time we somehow snuck into things we weren't supposed to be in at San Diego Comic-Con. Yes. Yes, but like we're fucking about as, I can't think of a good analogy, damn it. But we're not, I mean, we are, but next we're sitting at a table with real journalists, dink, that are in the nerd world.
Okay, I'll admit, yes, we're not real journalists. So I'll admit that. Like, we're not really that. Yeah.
There's Stephen Amell, the Green Arrow sitting across the table from us, and everybody's asking questions, and they're all just fucking canned, stupid press questions. That big surprise. That's what everybody's asking, and then it comes to us, and I'm like,
I had the facial hair question. You had the wrestling.
It's just like, it was great though.
It was
That type of
It
stuff.
was.
That type of look. You put two people that aren't really great in public, spotlight type of things, but you put us in the right position at the right time, and we can perform.
Okay, yeah.
I
I forgot why you mentioned Nintendo though. Why did we talk about Nintendo?
I don't know.
You asked about the Nintendo 64. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
but
Nintendo
we go in there. So they had already released the 8-bit retro classic, the 8-bit classic, the 16-bit, the Super Nintendo classic just came out.
Yes.
There was plans. They were all over the internet. They were probably not real, but there were plans all over the internet and games that were going to be listed on it.
Right.
So I just walked up and basically everybody that looked important, I was like, so 64 Classic, when's it coming out? Or I'm hearing a lot of rumors about 64 Classic. Everybody was just like, please stop talking to us about it.
Yeah, because they're not really. I mean, they work for Nintendo, but they're not like really
right. They have
in on it.
Yeah, they're not in on anything. They're more just like a PR team.
Yeah.
It was funny though.
It was still fun, yeah. I was just
everybody understood. They got it. They played along with me. And we got to do that cool thing with the cardboard stuff. Remember that when that lasted for 2 weeks?
The cardboard stuff.
There was that Nintendo accessory where they had everything was made of cardboard.
Yeah.
There was that robot thing that I was in, and with the rubber bands and everything else I had on there. That was awkward as hell.
Yeah, they sold a thing of cardboard as an accessory for a while.
Yes.
They did do that. That was a real thing. And then they never did it again because nobody bought it.
No.
Just like those laser tag. I think whatever we touch turns to dust because we touched the laser tag stuff and that never turned into anything either.
That's true.
That stuff. Nobody bought it. As a matter of fact, it went on clearance at all of the stores. It was on clearance.
In some box somewhere in this house is the rifle set for that laser tag thing that we highlighted. We spent time.
We were because we were the influencers according to the staff.
Yeah.
At that place, we were influencers, and we weren't going to argue with them.
Nope.
We weren't going to say no. Like, okay. Now it's much harder to be an influencer because you have to be a complete asshole now to be an influencer.
Well, you just needed to be a partial asshole before, and I need to be a total asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's well, no, I won't bring that up. I was going to say something stupid. So none of that was planned.
No.
Did you see Beetlejuice?
No.
I thought you would have. Well, that.
You know what? I thought I would have too, but I'm gonna be. I didn't care enough to watch it.
Okay.
I will be watching Transformer 1. So if you want to talk Transformers 1 next week, I do intend to watch that movie.
As do I. I'm all for, new Transformer stuff, whatever it is. It's gonna be weird seeing some sort of like buddy cop movie until something happens. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting anyway.
The one review I heard or I watched was like it's quick, it never gets boring, it's funny. It also has very serious role parts that are like really emotional. So it's like and they loved it. They thought it was really, really good. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and also with like anything animated, it has very little typically to do with anything live action. At least in what the examples that we've been given so far. So I don't know why people would have any issue with an animated Transformers movie.
I mean, Transformers started animated. The first Transformers movie was animated. Like,
I mean, even if you want to get really technical, Even the Takara commercials were stop motion animated.
There you go. So,
I mean, they were live action, but like.
Yeah, right.
But still,
So why'd you bring up Beetlejuice though?
Well, I thought you'd seen it. I thought you'd talk about it.
Oh,
but you didn't see it. So now we're
yeah.
shafting right now.
You weren't interested either. You weren't interested in Beetlejuice either.
I am, but I just don't have the time.
That too, yeah.
I mean, I do technically have the time. I can get off of work on some nights and go see a movie. I just prefer AM movie going.
Yeah, when no one's there.
1, 2, you get the movie out of the way, and then you can just enjoy the whatever else you got to go do. Or maybe if you're with friends, you see the movie, then you go get nachos. Or go get fajitas or something. And then you disperse.
I want a fajita. That sounds good.
When you go to a movie at night, even with your friends, what do you do afterward? Typically, everybody disperses, goes home.
Usually, yes.
So
in high school, I took everyone home.
I
drove everyone home.
Taxi.
I was the tag. Well, I was friends with a lot of. When I was a senior, I was friends with a lot of juniors. So I was the only one old enough to drive a car. So I'm like, okay, I will drive you guys home.
I mean, I was always a passenger pretty much all through high school until my senior year.
Yeah.
When I finally, grew up enough and was responsible enough, think, to get a driver's license and a vehicle.
Like driving people home. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I mean, because I had a pretty fresh car, I thought, and any driving experience you get is good to get.
Yeah, everyone was just hot for my 1985 Volvo D26 or whatever it was. The tank, the boxy tank Volvo.
Yeah.
That could survive any accident. They're like, yeah, that's hot. The boat.
Yeah. The Vo.
Yeah, the Vo. The Vo, that was it was a boat. It was the biggest car I've ever driven.
I mean,
and it was
I drove, my first car was basically the Dukes of Hazzard car.
Right. Yeah.
Which was a very large car.
Right.
I mean, it was, when did I get that? It was like 94. And cars were tiny in the 90s. And here I come with this early 70s hot rod.
Yeah, but the thing you said that the window was broken, you had to climb in, etc. But you never said if you ever slid across the hood.
It's because it never worked. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Too long of a story. I'll still tell it, but the long of the short is it wasn't painted. It was primered only. And when you're wearing jeans and you think you're fresh and you go to jump across the hood, Bo and or Luke Duke style, primer, unsanded primer in jeans are like Velcro. So I went to slide across the hood. The jeans bit. I rolled across the hood and fell off the other side.
That's my favorite part. Rolling across the hood.
Yeah,
it's a slide. Just roll.
It was not good. And I never painted it. I just, me and a buddy, we sanded it so it looks like almost like a chalkboard. It wasn't quite murdered, as the kids say, but there was no paint on it. It was just primer.
Okay.
Which is probably one of the reasons why I used to get pulled over like every third hour in that car.
Oh.
Hey, Push is here. Happy Tuesday to you, my friend.
Push. How's it going?
What is going on? He's always got topics. Anytime you freeze, right, and we're live, I'm like, somebody help. And he starts throwing out topics.
Well, I saw a glimpse of last week's episode where I disappeared in the beginning of the episode because of internet, and you were still talking, and I think Push was asking, like, bringing up a bunch of different topics.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there you go.
So,
So yeah, sadly I wasn't here for that.
well, you were, but you know, you were connected, but not connected.
Yeah, it's a better night tonight, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, as for just the last thing I want to say about Beetlejuice is I want to watch OG Beetlejuice first before I watch the second one. I've seen the original years ago,
Sure,
but I haven't seen it since.
I think that would be the move. I think that's how I would do it. I would maybe wake up early that day, really early, to watch Beetlejuice, and then hit the theater as soon as it opens to watch the second one.
Yeah.
So it's like fresh in your mind.
Push wants to know if we watched the Emmys. I couldn't care less about the Emmys. Like, I have zero interest.
Which one's the Emmys? Which one's that?
TV shows.
Oh, okay.
So it's all TV.
I think my lady was out in your neck of the woods this past weekend for a little getaway, and I believe went to the Emmy Museum.
Yes, we have an Emmy museum. Yes, it's a very cool museum. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
so it's a really cool. Old Emmys just lined up against walls and costumes and all sorts of really cool.
I think that's some of what I've seen. Yes, but did I watch it? No. But what's the other one? Oscars? Don't watch that either.
Well, here's the thing. I don't watch enough TV to care about the Emmys. Like, I don't watch any TV. I'm so behind on all my TV. Like, I have shows from 10 years ago that I have to watch that I promised myself I'd watch. Like The Wire. Never got around to The Wire. Never got around to, like, all these other TV shows.
What was the show? I think it was on FX. It was Spider-Man and a guy in a dog costume.
It wasn't Spider-Man. It was The Hobbit, wasn't it? And a guy in a dog.
Oh,
so The Hobbit was in a dog costume.
Who? Wilfred?
Wilfred. Yeah.
I know that was the American version of the show. And to be fair, I've never watched the Aussie original, I believe.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's either UK or Aussie. Never watched those either. But when it was on, the roommate I had at the time really liked it. And I think we only had the one TV at the time, so I was like bitter anytime I didn't get to watch what I wanted to watch, maybe. Or I found it uninteresting at the time. But the concept of it, looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd like to rewatch that. And I don't know where one finds it nowadays, but if I can find it, I'll probably watch it.
I haven't even finished. There's so many shows I haven't even finished. I need to watch and finish. That are old. Better Call Saul. I started and never finished. Orphan Black. Like all these big Emmy-winning shows. I'm like, I'd rather just watch a guy eat an old MRE for. I'd just rather watch that for half an hour.
I would much rather watch a guy manipulate a puppet making sarcastic jokes and talk about eating cats.
Who's that one?
Alf.
Oh, Alf. Oh, jeez, yeah. Oh, there you go. Classic. I do watch a lot of classic TV, which is another reason why I don't watch the Emmys. I watch a lot of classic television. One day I'll get around to regular TV.
I guess speaking of kind of classic and stuff.
Yeah.
The guys of Top Gear that went on.
Jeremy's left, right?
Well, that went on to make the Grand Tour on Amazon. They just released their final episode, that they're ever going to do, the three of them together. Yeah. And I haven't watched it yet because, one, I don't want it to end. Those three guys are funny together, and how people watch, I don't know, fucking Golden Girls, before they go to bed, or The Office, or whatever, just something that's a series that this is the show I fall asleep to, Futurama, whatever.
Yeah.
Where was I going with all this?
And watching Grand Tour.
Yeah, the Top Gear and the Grand Tour. That's kind of my. I'm falling asleep watching this.
Oh, that's your Golden Girls. That's
Yeah.
your yeah. Okay, that's
My,
your comfort. That's your comfort TV.
yeah, it's
Okay.
just because it's just I like cars. Don't really like working on them so much, but I like cars. And, the cars themselves. And the camaraderie they had and the humor and just it's an entertaining show to my type of humor and entertainment. But I don't. Yeah, it's kind of sad. That apparently it's a pretty emotional, heartfelt episode, and the last drive or whatever they call it. Like it's it'll be fun to watch. I'll get around to it. But
Yeah, the funny thing is when it was announced that Jeremy was leaving Grand Tour, man, people really hate that guy. People really hate Jeremy Clarkson, and as a person who's only ever seen him in the British panels shows where he's not like talking about cars or anything, he's just answering questions or giving anecdotes, whatever. I like the guy. I think he's
Sure.
he's funny, he's interesting, but wow, people really hate him. Like it's really, I think 'cause he's a little no nonsense. He's like, he just says whatever's on his mind,
Mm-hmm.
and he sticks with it. But I mean, they're all in except for Richard Hammond. Everyone's in. James May and Jeremy Clarkson are both in their 60s, so
Yeah.
I guess they're retiring.
Yeah, it really, as it everything must come to an end. When you're on TV like that, I mean, you can only be on TV for so long, really.
Betty White was on TV until she died.
Yeah,
She
but
was
she wasn't.
99.
She wasn't trying to power slide cars or drive through the Amazon in a car purchased for $100.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's true. They did do their own stunts.
Yes, and
Yeah.
typically got hurt a lot.
That's what made them so great. That's what made them so entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it's
They were willing to take the risk.
and that's something. Risk taking is something that we all got to do from time to time, and whether that's through the profession you choose to enter, or in some cases restaurants.
Okay. I was wondering how you're transitioning to. So
I was
gonna
trying. I was trying really hard to be a professional.
go for it.
So restaurant out here in Colorado.
Okay.
People have heard about it, even if you haven't been to Colorado, mostly because it's been made fun of on South Park, and also
I
South
was
Park
wondering if it was
creators
gonna be that one.
owned it,
Okay.
have purchased it. And I kind of skimmed over the article, but I found something very intriguing. But in there, they just opened it up so it's been, this is so hard to explain this because it didn't even make sense happening.
It had a soft opening up until
Had a mega soft opening for the past 9 months, almost a year now, where you could sign up for a lottery to get a reservation, and a lot of people either went multiple times or people never got to go. I signed up through multiple emails and never got an opportunity to go. The 2 times that I went were either through my work. Somehow my work at the time was able to get a party, and then once with my my lady friend's family. So that was really cool. But me, I haven't been able to, like, hey, let's go. But they just open it up to reservations, to like general public. They're ready for a grand opening or a grand reopening, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting wording as you go through the reservation process, apparently. I didn't write it down. I copied it. Here's the quote. You're giving up the right to litigate a dispute in court before a judge or jury. Apparently that is in all the fine print. That apparently is part of it. So if you have, I got food poisoning, it's going to go to arbitration.
Yeah.
Or your food
Yeah.
gave me an instant heart attack. It's going to arbitration.
They're learning from Disney. That's a Disney move. Because Disney had that one guy who, like, I think his wife died or he died, and they're like, well, he signed up for Disney Plus once, and that prevents him from suing us. So sorry, like, you can't sue us because you signed up for Disney Plus once.
Interesting.
I don't know what happened in that case.
Look, it's a restaurant where you go sit down, you watch people jump into a pool from a cliff. You go see a puppet show. You knock on the mysterious door. You have some sopapillas.
Well,
like, I don't know why you would need arbitration for any of that, unless you were an idiot and decided to fall into the pool and you can't swim.
well, you need, yeah. I mean, just in general. But before we go too deep, just so that we don't miss these, Push had mentioned that Dick Van Dyke is getting close to 100 and is still alive, which is true.
Yes, but he's not acting actively.
He'll
do a spot here and there, but he's not like going to sign up to do a series.
True. And then Swiss says, my coworkers convene daily to see where they are on the list. One of them was somewhere in the 19,000s.
Which list?
The list of Casa Bonita.
Oh.
To get into Casa Bonita.
Oh, gotcha.
Because yeah.
I didn't even try. I got an email that said, reservations are opening up for X date, this coming Friday or whatever. And I'm like, been there twice.
What?
I'll get around to it.
So according to KDVR, which I'm assuming is a local Denver station, they said that on Monday, so yesterday, as of this recording, today is Tuesday, as of this recording.
Hey man, you can't stamp it.
Yeah, I have to stamp it. Reservations open up at 9. There are 2 reservation periods. One at 9 a.m., where the station observed that 50,000 people were in the queue.
Oh my God.
To get a reservation before it closed. And then it'll begin once again at 3 o'clock in the same day, and 30,000 people were observed to be in the virtual queue to get into the restaurant before 2 hours later the reservations were stopped and shut down.
Yeah.
So people, even though you've been there, it's old hat. You're one of the special ones because you went and ate at Casa Bonita. At least 80,000 Denverites / Coloradans want to
or people in other states. To be fair.
That's true. I just want to assume they're all from your state.
I mean,
it's
yeah. I mean, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing the number of populace here, but it is. I mean, people, they make it a destination spot. They're trying to. That's why. It's not why they bought it, but I mean, that's why they weren't silent about it.
Yeah.
Like, we made fun of it, and now we own it. Ha ha.
I'm curious what apparently they're enhancing as of on October 1st. They're going to enhance the food menu in Casa Bonita. The experience will remain the same, but the food will be enhanced.
So currently, and you can't quote me on this, but currently there's like 6 or 7 items to choose from. And it's a fine array of choices, I feel.
Right.
So maybe they're enhancing is going to mean, they're going to bring back some of the old traditions of the place. Like, they used to have, like, I think it was unlimited, what are the enchiladas? Or like,
nice.
Not, maybe it wasn't unlimited, but maybe they had like an all-you-can-eat enchilada or something. I don't remember because I only went there as a teen. I have no child memories of going there. I only went there as a teen, and it was like, why the fuck are we going here?
They're like, what can you make? That's it. Just learn how to make these things and be good at making these 6 things.
Basically, that's the experience they've been going through. So, and like I said, the 2 times I've been there, I've gotten the same thing both times, and they were both decent. I think the first time I had it was better, but it was a fine experience. The second time I got to sit cliffside to see all the antics of the cliff divers.
That's fun. That's fun. I like that.
And there's a so before Matt and Trey or whatever their fucking names are, before they bought it, there was a guy in a gorilla suit that would walk around, and I don't understand why there was a gorilla there. Had something to do with because that restaurant's been there since like the 50s. But it had something to do with the way it was. But now that the South Park guys bought it, the gorilla has morphed. It is now clearly Man Bear Pig.
Oh, right.
From South Park lore. But if you call him Man Bear Pig, his handler will say, no, this is Gorilla Junior or something like that. It doesn't look like a fucking gorilla. It looks like Man Bear Pig.
Right.
It's wearing Man Bear. It looks. If you pull up a picture of Man Bear Pig or imagine him in your mind, and you see the gorilla, quote unquote, dink dink gorilla, at Casa Bonita, it's the same picture.
So Swiss says the still vacant Hollywood video is on equal footing as a tourist attraction in the same strip mall. So apparently people are still
there. It's not there anymore.
Oh.
But it was there for quite some time. Yes, it is not there anymore. That is the first thing I looked for when I arrived there for the first time. I'm like, oh, is it still there?
I love Hollywood Video. I used to run video games from the little attachment like for years.
Game Crazy?
Game Crazy.
Yes.
Love Game Crazy. Way better than Blockbuster video games. It was Blockbuster was bad at video games, but Game Crazy was a place to be. Push says that South Park was really good in the early. I still think it's good. I think South. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of recent episodes, but people reference South Park still.
Oh yeah,
the recent episodes. I mean,
they went through a weird period of being. Wait, what's the difference? Episodic means it's just one and done, right?
Episodic is one and done versus
serialized,
which is a story that lasts season.
So they've always been episodic. They might have, they have things that carry over, right, but it's basically been episodic.
Yeah.
They went when the PC Principal first showed up. Those couple seasons were more heavily serialized than episodic. They still were, but the season had an overarching, story that if you didn't keep up, you'd lose some of that story.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they went back to episodic as of late. I haven't, admittedly, I haven't seen very, very recent episodes.
Not very recent, but they've had episodes where it's been referenced in the mainstream, and I'm like, yeah. The fourth grade years got interesting, says Push as well. I didn't realize they aged, and I didn't realize they continued.
Yeah, they graduated up to the fourth grade for a little while. I think it was like season 4 or 5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe later.
Gator Gill also says that their bestie just went this weekend for his birthday, and he said the food is amazing now.
Yeah, but because before it was scary.
I was gonna say I've heard horror stories on how the food was originally.
You would stand in line. You'd pay your admission, and then you would get your tray, your prison tray, and you go stand in line and wait for your slop to come out of this mysterious hole that was the kitchen.
Yeah.
And there was some poor soul there that probably just had blistered fingers while these like 3,000 degree plates with just yuck on them, and he'd be like, "What number are you?" And you'd be like, "I don't fucking remember, 62." And you get the plate of slop and you go eat and you pretend like you're having a great time. Then you sit there and go, we got through the slop. Now let's eat the sopapillas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make good food at a place that's a gimmick,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when it's a gimmick, you either have the gimmick or you have the food. It's very rare that you have both.
Right. And that's what they're trying to
Unless
do
you're,
now.
well, I
They
was
are
gonna say, unless
trying
you're
to do both.
yeah, if you're multi-billionaires like, Matt and Trey, you can definitely fork out both
Yes.
if you have the, because they have the money for it, and they've got nothing better to do than to make weekly South Park episodes in the span of a week. So
If you haven't seen the little documentary they made, it's 7 Days to Air.
mhm.
Good little, it's like a 45-minute, maybe an hour long. It's great. It shows how they made, and it was whatever episode they were working on that particular week. It was like this documentary was almost filmed in time with the episode.
I think that's what makes South Park kind of timeless still. Why people still consider it better than The Simpsons, which people feel declined over the years, over the last 30 years or whatever, however long it's been around. But the South Park stays relevant by staying relevant, right? Like they stay interested in stuff and they're not afraid to be offensive still. Like even after all this time, they're still offensive and nobody gives them guff for it. Nobody gives them any crap for it. They can be offensive, they can be mean, and people just kind of laugh at it. Versus
As you
like
should.
they got, yeah,
It's a cartoon.
versus, well, like in The Simpsons, they got rid of Apu because he's offensive, and I'm like, well, and now
I mean,
everyone's regretting it. But,
what did they get? I mean, they didn't get rid of Apu because he is offensive. They got rid of Apu because there was a white guy playing somebody that wasn't white.
yeah, but that's biting people now for because, there's other people want to be able to play characters, and now they can't because they're expected to be a certain. You don't play the character that you represent. They're like, well, I want to play this character. It's like, too bad, you're not that person. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous either way. But
I mean, it wasn't Hank Azaria that was doing Apu's voice.
it was, yeah.
So I mean, if anything, he got a rest from the 18,000 other voices he does on that show.
That's a good point. He was like half the cast. It was him and Castellaneta.
Yeah.
They're the two voices. Oh no, whoever plays Mr. Burns? He's like the other half. Actually.
Yeah, Castellaneta.
No, it's not Castellaneta. It's somebody else, isn't it?
I don't believe so.
Maybe, I don't know. You're probably right. The girls are the ones that have it easy. The voice for Marge and the voice for Bart and Lisa are like, we have one voice. We don't have to do anything else. One voice.
What's the lady's name that does Bart? Nancy Cartwright. She does Wiggum's kid.
Nelson.
She
No,
does.
no, Nelson.
Who's the bully?
Nelson.
He does that guy. She does that guy. The cop's kid.
Yeah, I forgot the cop. Yeah.
What's the two doofuses of the bully? She does one or both of them.
Okay.
So
it's just Marge and it's just Lisa. Those are the two characters, the two actresses.
I think Yeardley Smith does a couple characters as well.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. Simpsons is great. Simpsons is one of those things that's always on. And after the first 3 seasons, I watched it, but I wasn't like, it's Sunday night at 7. I need to sit and watch whatever time it came on. I think it was 7. It's time to watch Simpsons. It just, that wasn't my cartoon. It's great.
7.
I loved it. Went to the movie, had a great time, but it's just not really something I'm going to sit down and watch every week.
768 episodes.
Is that all?
I think that's a lot.
It is. I thought it was more like the 900s at this point. 30 years.
Take a break during the summer.
Well, yeah, that's probably probably what it is. What is this? That's weird. some weird message. I don't know what I was gonna say.
I don't know.
I transitioned so well into something that I can't get out of it. Well, it's getting to be that time. But I'll tell you something funny that happened to me today, Francis. I will spare the restaurant by not naming them, but you could probably figure it out.
Oh, okay.
You could probably figure it out. But I went onto this app for the place I wanted to go to, and I noticed that if I ordered online, I'd get a little discount. And I'm like, well, it's in the same parking lot as where I'm working. I don't need to do this, but I'll take the discount because, times is rough sometimes. You take discounts where you can get them.
Yes.
So I ordered my sandwich. And I'm like, okay, it's doable. Let's do that. Order. Walk over to I almost said the place. Walk over to the establishment.
I think it's a counter versus place, but okay.
Well,
yeah.
Then I do walk up to the counter. I'm like, hey, I'm here to pick up my delicious sandwich. And they were like, oh.
Tosh.
Yeah, they're like, your name's Jose, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I am Jose Jaquez. So they hand me my sandwich, and I wait for my coworker, and he gets his sandwich, and we walk back to our workplace, and we sit down to have our lunch. He opens up his lunch, and it looks delicious. I open up mine, and then I look at the receipt that has all the ingredients that I requested. Then I'm looking at the sandwich that has nothing on it, basically. And the receipt and the sandwich, and my partner is like, what's going on? And I'm like, what's wrong with this picture? And he looks down, looks at the receipt, and he goes, you have a sandwich that's not even the right bread, and it's turkey and a lot of bacon. That's all that's what I had for lunch today. Was it no sauce?
Yeah.
No moisture. Why didn't I just go back? Because there was no time.
No. My question is, how do you think the person who got your sandwich felt when they got it? Like, do you think they were happier or
they
sadder?
Should be, because they fucking got to experience flavor.
You had bacon. You had apparently 7 layers of bacon.
Yeah, bacon and turkey dry. Like that's not.
Yeah.
That barely qualifies as a sandwich.
They had their own Frank's hot sauce in their pocket, and that's why they didn't bother getting.
Or their own cheese, or their own salad stuff, whatever you want to call it, veggies, whatever.
Right.
Who eats a sandwich with just turkey and bacon? Those are two ingredients I like, but I also like, something else in there.
Yeah.
But at least it was on whole wheat bread. So it was at least partially healthy. But, that place didn't even have a drive-thru. I was going to say, but, they always fuck you at the drive-thru, but I didn't even go to a drive-thru. I looked the person dead in the fucking eye.
It's so hard to because they made the sandwich. I mean, how busy were they? They were oh yeah. Because I'm like, how do you mix up a sandwich?
I mean, how is a sandwich place busy? To be honest, to be frank with you, how's it's a sandwich place. It's.
I guess the other thing is
there's no custom sandwiches at this place. There's a board that tells you everything that's there.
I mean, you can kind of customize them.
Well, in the sense of their toppings, if you will. Why is my computer doing something?
Oh.
But yeah, it's not like you go in there and say I want a meat and bacon sandwich and whatever. You can't do that. Not at this place I went to. I mean, maybe you could. Apparently you can.
Ginger apparently knows people that don't go do condiments at all. It's just bread and meat and maybe cheese, and that's it. Which is a dry sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Very dry sandwich.
I have worked with people that maybe even have gone to the same sandwich place. And I'm like, that was a very healthy looking sandwich, but it's awfully dry looking.
Hey, I know someone who gets a slice of pizza, takes off the cheese, takes off the sauce, just eats the bread with a little bit of sauce on it, takes off the cheese, hates the cheese, no cheese. Same person, by the way, that you're thinking of with the sandwich. I'm pretty sure it's the same person we're thinking that you're mentioning about the sandwich. But they eat pizza without any topping except for the bread and
That's
a little
not
bit of sauce.
that's not pizza.
No, it's a breadstick with marinara sauce.
It's barely even a breadstick. If it's in the shape of a pizza, it's just warm bread.
I mean, yeah.
With like tomato flavoring on it.
I mean, look, I'll admit, I have yet to meet someone who, despite allergies, like if they have allergy, makes sense, but they're just not adventurous with food at all. Like I just know too many people who are just like, I want my food as boring and as plain and as same as everything I've ever eaten in my entire life as possible. And I'm like, try something new. New food is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
New food tastes amazing.
Hey, especially if it's on somebody else's dime, and when it's yours, I know it's at least coming from a good place.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey man, check out this steak tartare. And afterward, it comes with a free hot towel. And I'm like, I've never been someplace so fancy they give you a hot towel after you eat meat.
I really want to go back. I really want to go back to the Capitol Grill. I really want to go back.
I mean, yeah, but like I had never had, raw steak. I love a pretty rare steak. I have no problem eating, reaching whatever the legal temperature of serving steak is. I'm okay with eating that.
Whatever the rarest of rare is,
yeah.
I'll eat that.
Yeah, I think it's like blue or some shit like that. But they can't legally, sell you that. But you go to a restaurant and they're like, "Give me rare." They're like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I said it, didn't I?"
Yeah. Well, at this restaurant, what we ordered, they're like, "We don't have to do anything to it. We just put it on a plate. We'll crack an egg on top, just for funsies." But
for the steak tartare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had that before. That was an experience. I'm just like, I always talk about, I love a rare steak, but I'm just eating cow right now. This is a different experience.
I'm glad I can introduce you to a fun new experience like
it was
this.
great.
Yeah.
I have that under my belt now. If I see it, if I can afford it, and I see it on the menu, I can be like, "Hey, person I'm with,
I know what that is.
You want to do this? It's great."
I have a funny feeling your girlfriend has had something like that already.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
She's much more classy and sophisticated than I am.
That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But yeah, that's funny. Oh man.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant, but I brushed it off.
No new concerts, by the way. Normally,
well, it's funny you mentioned that, Francis. It's funny you mentioned that because, as we kind of mentioned last weekend, it was my birthday last week, and my workplace, I think, inadvertently or on mistake or whatever, gave me the whole weekend off, which was quite nice of them. Yeah, not all weekend. I had the whole weekend off. It was great.
Wow. All right.
It was kind of unexpected because the schedule came out so late that I was like, I know I have Saturday, and then magically I have Sunday as well.
Very nice.
Which I accomplished the square root of jack shit, but I also didn't do shit for my birthday. The Pinball Expo was happening. But it was a little pricey, I felt, for me to give them my money for what was on offer for the amount of time. And I'm just like, I can't justify. It would be fun, but I know it'll be here next year, so I'll go next year. That's what I've said for the last 6 years. But, I'll make it there eventually.
Right.
Because I am a pinball wizard. But Yeah, it didn't do that. I think there was a little mini con of some sort. Didn't make it to that. There was a horror festival. Nope. The gym and rock show. That's fun.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm not into like the spiritual side of crystals and rocks and shit, and they're cool. But I go there because that stuff is fun to me. Like, I have no real interest in rocks, but I like looking at them. In the different colors and stuff. And as long as there's no raw opals or opal laying around, I'm good. But when there is raw opals, I'm like, okay, keeping my distance. Don't mean to offend you, opals. Not trying to mess up your vibe over there. I'm just walking by. Please don't hex me. I'm terrified of opals. If you can't tell. Superstitious as hell. It sucks when your girlfriend loves opals. But when you give them as a gift, it's okay. But I still don't want to touch it.
Okay.
They're pretty, but they're scary. But everything else is cool, But didn't get to do that either. But my girlfriend, there's a concert up in the mountain town. I'm not going to be here for your birthday, but how about we go to the mountain town and stay and then go to the concert? Great idea. So we're going to go to a mountain town and look at trees changing colors and probably a number of shops, I'm sure.
It's that time of year, yeah.
Hopefully we find a couple good restaurants. Maybe one that's got some steak tartare.
I'm sure, maybe not that, but I'm sure you'll find.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I like to be fancy, but I don't know if I can be that fancy.
Right.
But it's fun because I don't know. It's good to get away sometimes.
It is.
Whether it's by yourself or with your person or whatever. We all live in pretty big states, and sometimes we don't get to see things outside of your immediate area or workplace. Mm-hmm. Even though I've been to this little mountain town a handful of times in my life, I've never been there with my girlfriend. Never been there as an adult, to experience things. So it'll be fun.
I have no doubt it'll be a great and fun time.
It'd be cool if we were seeing them too, but we're not. Let's see. Let's look through the list that I conjured together. We talked about everything. That's awesome. And we talked about other shit we didn't even fucking plan for.
Oh, yeah. What?
What?
Oh, no. You cut out for like 2 seconds.
Oh. We talked about everything I wrote down on my list.
Oh, good.
We talked about things that weren't even on the list. So, successful podcast. Successful podcast.
Yes. What a win. What a win.
I'm going to cut it short a little bit just because I have to work at the crack of dawn tomorrow.
Well, you're not, because we're over by 8 minutes, so you're not cutting it short.
No, okay, well, whatever. It's 10:30 on the old. We're getting close to 10:30 here on the old clock here, and I do have to get up early and deal with people that don't like to pay for merchandise. So, got to keep my wits about me. Might get stabbed or something. So, but that's the show for this week. Hope you had a good time. Thanks for everybody that was here. There's a group of you I see on my little counter here. Thanks for being here. We're here. Try to be here every Tuesday with the recorded podcast coming the following Monday, which I'm behind this week, so apologize for that. It'll be out when I can. But that's it. Francis, where can people find you on the internets?
At AKA the other guy, yay!
And when you look him up, when you're typing that into your computer machine or Twitter machine or whatever, you have to say it just like that. AKA the other guy. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
You have to wave your arms in the air.
Well, you can't wave your arms and type at the same time.
That's a good point. I didn't think.
I mean,
that.
unless you're really good at manipulating your body.
No wonder I can't crack 800 followers. It's because I keep having them wave their arms in the air before clicking follow.
Yeah,
on
do
Twitter.
Follow us on the various places that you can, which you could find pretty much everything that Francis is attached to by looking up AKA the other guy. I wish that I had that. You know what? We don't really have a shtick except for this one every episode. We always try to think of something, and this same shtick every week.
It's a good shtick. I like the shtick. It's a fine shtick. Yeah.
But I don't believe in synergy. Well, I tried to, but it didn't work. So you look us up at 303. What am I? 303 _ the ninja on the Twitters, 303 ninja on the Instagram. You can call, text, voicemail 314-764-7631. It spells out POI Pod 1. There was some synergy there. Email us at thepoipodcast@gmail.com. Look up everything else at the POI Podcast or other things. Message me. I'll let you know where you can find it at your favorite downloadable podcast catcher. Remember what they used to call it that?
We do. Well, they still do.
They still do. But let me know. Let me know. And I will direct you. I have the links to all the most popular ones. So you can just let me know. Join us every week here at Tuesdays around 7:30 Mountain Time, sometimes later, like tonight. But we'll be back next week. The song's ending. This show's ending. Got nothing to say. Bye.